Salutations and good morrow everyone, and welcome back to another Grounded update video. Today we're going to be going over the updates that happened to the bees during update 7.0 or 0.70 depending on what you want to call it. But I want to also, before we jump in, mention two different things. One is that only 30% of you guys that watch these videos are currently subscribed, so please make sure you guys subscribe for more awesome Grounded videos. I put them out almost daily. And then also the other thing that I want to mention is that I am in the public test server. This is not a live build yet for everybody. That if you guys want to do this, you have to join the public test server in order to see these changes. I know that they currently deactivated public test for Xbox and Windows, but they're going to turn it back on very soon here. So as soon as you guys can get in, and check out these changes, or in 7 to 10 days from now, they will update the game and allow everybody to see all these changes. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into admin mode and I'm going to fly over to the bee hill, because the beehive hill has been changed again. You guys can see it a little bit. The texture on has changed a little bit, and I want to kind of go over it and just kind of check it out a little bit with you guys. So I'm going to go into bug toggle mode here. All right, here we go. Let's zip on over here and check out how it looks now. Well, first off, we can see the bees are still having some sort of problem on the picnic table over here. They all seem to just kind of be inside of the table here. Excuse me, guys. Not a good place to sleep. If somebody comes over here, they're going to sit on you. Then you're going to have a lot of stingers in somebody's rumpus. Half your hive's going to pass away. But anyway, enough about that. Let's check out the hive. You can see that it actually has shadowing on it now. It actually has some coloring, more coloring to it. It doesn't look as much like just a solid piece of plastic, more or less here. It actually looks like it's got a little bit of texture. Now, a lot of people ask me, Sim, what happens if you go inside? Well, this is what happens if you go inside. It's just an entrance until you pop out the other side. There isn't anything in here yet, but there definitely is enough room for them to put a queen bee inside of here. I'm assuming maybe at some point they may get added in. But what I will add is that this hive is not yet big enough to support the number of bees that are actually in this backyard. If you look at the size of the bee compared to the hive, there we go. There's a really good image for you. The size of the bee compared to the size of the yard, it's just not big enough to support all of these bees. So I don't know what they're going to do about that, if they're going to make it bigger or what, but they definitely need to make that a little bit bigger. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to zip over and I want to go back into playing as Pete and then go and fight the bees, because what they did is they updated the way that you actually fight them, because they gave them two new attacks. There are two new attacks. One is an AoE attack that does almost like the stink bomb, but it just is a quick powder move that blows out a bunch of powder around the bee, damaging you. More or less, it spreads pollen all over the place. And it's a pretty devastating move if you're not prepared for it. The other one is like a headbutting move. It like headbutts and bites you. So both moves definitely change the way you have to fight them. But the original ways that I said that you can fight them with all the gas arrows still does work. But if you're not going to use gas arrows, you need to be a little bit more careful on how you're fighting these guys with their new attacks. Okay, I'm going to run a little bit closer so it's a little bit easier to shoot the bees, and then we'll talk more about them then. What are you doing up there on the side of that rock? Okay guys, so I wanted to show you guys what the actual bee moves look like. So here's one right there. You guys can see a pollen move that it just pulled off. That's move number one for it. Thankfully, I'm standing far enough away. And then that headbutting move, that's actually a biting move that it just did. That is another move that they do now when they're fighting. Now, you want to be a little bit more careful with fighting these guys, because they do now aggro, depending on if you're fighting more than one bee at a time. So just be weary of that. These guys are huge. Look at me standing inside of it. That's how big this thing is. But anyway, you want to be a little bit more careful. Another thing a lot of you guys have asked me is, Sim, where do you go in order to grind bees? Because I can get out all the bee items that I need in just a couple, like just about a half an hour. What's up, Mr. B? What's going on? And this is exactly where I go to find them. Okay, it's right here. If you run over to this rock right here, you could climb up from these rocks over here. This is a really good spot to be able to shoot arrows from here on top of there, or shoot them to the top of the beehive over there in order to aggro the bees to come over to you, and you can fight them here. What I will say is you're going to want to be careful, because with the pollen move that they let out now, if you get more than like 2 or 3 of them at a time, even in mild, it's pretty much a death sentence. So be very careful with what you're doing. But like I was saying, all it takes is shooting some arrows up over here. Sooner than later, you will peg one of the bees. Just because the arrow drop, you kind of just got to figure out the right spot to go and shoot the arrows off. But just shoot your arrows off till you peg one of the bees, and when they run over here, oop, there's that stamina thing that happens now when you don't have enough food. Let me get some food up here. There we go. Okay, perfect. So just get up all the arrows that you can. Just aim over and fire arrows into the beehive, and sooner or later you will actually tag one of the bees that's over there, and they will aggro and come to attack you. This is where I come. You guys can see I've already fought and killed 3 bees over here. Give it a try for yourself. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about technically isn't a bee item, because you don't use any bee items in order to make it, but technically the bees are part of it, so I want to talk to you guys about it a little bit, and it's this Shinobi Sneeze. Okay, so the Shinobi Sneeze uses 3 pollen, which the bees are attracted to, until you turn it into a Shinobi Sneeze and use it in order to get away, and a grub hide. Now, grubs are gonna become more and more and more valuable throughout this game, so I would suggest that you guys go out and start grinding out grubs if you can. But these grub hides and the pollen together make a pollen puff blast that hide you from enemy sights for a short duration. It's not as long as I'd like it to be, but what this does is it de-aggers you from everything that wants to attack you. So say you're getting attacked by a wolf spider, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm gonna die. I don't have the items I need in order to make this, in order to make it to kill him. All I have to do is pop one of these, and you can run away, okay? And you'll be able to get away. What I would suggest is you keep 2 or 3 of these on you at all times, just so you can really get away. But use these to your advantage. You could also probably use these inside of the anthill if you forgot to bring items, like wear your ant armor into the anthill for some reason. If you ever happen to have that happen, I would try to use these. But guys, that is pretty much it. They haven't changed the armor. They changed the mosquito needle a little bit, but they haven't adjusted the bee armor at all. So guys, that is all that I have for today. Thank you guys all so much for watching this video. If you guys liked it, please hit that like button. Leave me a comment down below of what your favorite new thing that they updated that has to do with the bees are, and also I will see all of you guys in the next one.